People come and go in life for a variety of reasons, and often the ones who leave are simply not meant to stay. It's a hard truth to accept, especially when we've built deep emotional connections with them. But the reality is that relationships, whether romantic, friendships, or even family ties, can be temporary. We often expect people to be in our lives forever, but life has a way of shifting circumstances, priorities, and perspectives. Some people enter our lives to teach us lessons, to bring joy for a season, or even to help us grow. But they are not necessarily meant to stay permanently. Sometimes people leave because they are unable to grow with us. As we evolve, our interests, goals, and values change. We might find ourselves outgrowing people we once felt completely aligned with, and they may feel the same about us. It can be painful to realize that someone who once felt like an integral part of our journey no longer fits into our present or future. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Growth often requires letting go of what no longer serves us, even if it means watching people walk away. Other times, people leave because they fail to appreciate our presence. They take us for granted, believing we will always be there, regardless of how they treat us. They assume that our kindness, love, and support are infinite and unconditional. But when they choose to walk away, they eventually come to understand that not everyone they meet will offer them the same level of care and devotion. Unfortunately, it often takes losing someone to realize their worth. When people exit our lives thinking they can replace us easily, they may soon find out that genuine connections are rare, and not everyone will offer them the same patience, understanding, and loyalty. Life has a way of revealing who is truly meant to be in our lives and who is only passing through. Some people will leave at the first sign of difficulty because they were never truly invested in the relationship. Others may walk away due to their own fears, insecurities, or personal battles that have nothing to do with us. It's important to recognize that their departure is not always a reflection of our worth, but rather a sign of where they are in their own journey. Holding on to someone who no longer wants to stay only creates suffering for both parties. It forces us to chase love, validation, or attention that should come naturally in a healthy connection. When someone chooses to leave, no matter how painful it is, we must remember that their exit is creating space for something new. Holding on to people who have chosen to walk away only delays our ability to welcome those who truly belong in our lives. It may not feel like it at the moment, but losing certain people can be a blessing in disguise. It allows us to find the ones who are truly meant for us, the ones who will appreciate us, and the ones who will walk with us through every stage of life without hesitation. Your value as a person is not defined by who stays in your life or who decides to walk away. Too often, people get caught up in the idea that their worth is tied to the relationships they have, believing that if someone leaves them, must mean they were not enough. This kind of thinking is not only damaging, but also completely untrue. The truth is, people leave for their own reasons. Sometimes because they are not ready for the kind of love and loyalty you offer, sometimes because they are looking for something else, and sometimes because they fail to recognize your worth. None of those reasons should ever make you doubt yourself or feel like you need to beg for someone to stay. When you tie your self-worth to another person's presence, you give them the power to dictate how you feel about yourself. If they stay, you feel valuable. If they leave, you feel unworthy. But the reality is that your value does not decrease just because someone fails to see it. If a person cannot appreciate what you bring into their life, it is their loss, not yours. You do not need to chase them, prove yourself to them, or diminish yourself in an attempt to keep them around. When you start to believe that your worth is inherent, independent of anyone else's opinions or actions, you will no longer feel the need to hold on to people who do not truly value you. The need for validation from others often comes from a place of fear, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being loved, the fear of not being enough. But external validation is temporary and unreliable. If you constantly seek approval from people, you will always feel like you are one step away from losing everything. Instead of relying on others to make you feel worthy, focus on building a strong foundation of self-love. When you truly understand your own value, you stop tolerating mistreatment, neglect, or half-hearted efforts from those around you. You no longer settle for one-sided relationships where you are the only one making an effort, nor do you feel the need to convince someone to choose you. Letting go of attachment to those who leave does not mean you do not care. It means you respect yourself enough to walk away from anyone who does not see your value. People who truly love and appreciate you will not need convincing. They will not make you feel like you are easily replaceable, nor will they disappear the moment things become difficult. The ones who truly belong in your life will stay, not because you beg them to, but because they genuinely want to. They will see your worth without you having to constantly remind them. Self-worth is about knowing what you deserve and refusing to settle for anything less. It is about understanding that you are whole on your own, that you do not need someone else to complete you or make you feel valuable. When someone leaves, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if you had done something differently, they might have stayed. But the truth is, if someone is meant to be in your life, they will be there. And if they leave, it simply means they were not the right person for you. Instead of clinging to people who do not see your worth, invest in yourself. Surround yourself with those who uplift and appreciate you. And trust that the right people will recognize your value without you having to fight for their attention. When people walk away from you, there is always a chance that one day they will realize what they lost. Maybe it won't happen right away, and maybe it won't happen in the way you imagine, but at some point, they will look back and recognize that they had something special with you. However, their regret is not your burden to carry. It is not your job to make them feel better about the choices they made, nor is it your responsibility to give them another chance just because they finally see your worth. The truth is, by the time they realize what they lost, you will likely have already moved on, healed, and become stronger. People often take others for granted when they believe that their presence is guaranteed. They assume that no matter how they treat you, you will always be there, ready to forgive, ready to give more, ready to continue offering them your time, energy, and love. But life doesn't work that way. You are not an option to be picked up and discarded at someone's convenience. When someone makes the choice to walk away, they should understand that their decision comes with consequences. They do not get to return whenever they feel like it, expecting things to be the same. Their regret does not mean you owe them another chance, nor does it mean you should lower your standards to accommodate them again. Regret is a powerful emotion, and often the people who leave you will feel it deeply once they realize that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. They may have walked away thinking they could find someone better, someone who fits their expectations more, someone who fulfills their desires in a way they thought you couldn't. But with time, they will come to understand that what they had with you was rare, that the connection you shared wasn't something easily replaced. They will see that the loyalty, kindness, patience, and love you gave them is not something they can find just anywhere. They may start reminiscing about the moments you stood by them when no one else did, the way you supported them even when they were difficult to love, the times you forgave them when they didn't deserve it, and when they realize all of this, they will regret their decision. But that regret does not mean you should open the door for them again. It is easy to feel sympathy when someone comes back apologizing, telling you they made a mistake, telling you they miss you, telling you they realize now how much you meant to them. But where was this realization when they had the chance to appreciate you? Where was this understanding when you needed them to stay? People who only realize your value once you are gone are people who were never truly committed in the first place. They needed to lose you to see what they had, and that alone should tell you that they were never worthy of you. The right people know your worth in the present, not just in hindsight. It is important to remember that their regret is their own to deal with. It is not your duty to ease their guilt or to give them closure. Some people will walk away thinking they have made the best choice for themselves, only to later realize they let go of something that was truly irreplaceable. But by the time they figure it out, you will have learned to value yourself enough not to wait for them to come back. You will have grown past the point of needing their validation, past the point of wondering whether they ever cared, past the point of letting their actions affect your self-worth. At the end of the day, people make choices. If they chose to leave, they must also live with the knowledge that they might never find someone like you again. Their regret may come with a desire to reconnect, to fix things, to start over. But that does not mean you have to let them. You have the power to decide whether they deserve a place in your life again. You have the strength to move forward without looking back, knowing that anyone who truly valued you would have never risked losing you in the first place. When people leave you, it is easy to get caught up in sadness, replaying memories, questioning what went wrong, and wondering if you could have done something differently. It is natural to feel pain, disappointment, and even anger. But what truly defines your future is not the loss itself. It is how you respond to it. Instead of dwelling on those who chose to walk away, the best thing you can do is focus on yourself, your growth, and your success. Not as a form of revenge, not to prove anything to them, but because you deserve to be the best version of yourself for your own sake. Pain, when channeled correctly, can be a powerful motivator. It can push you to discover strengths you never knew you had, to develop resilience, to build a life that makes you proud. Many of the most successful and fulfilled people in the world have used heartbreak, rejection, and abandonment as fuel to create something incredible. They took the hurt, the disappointment, the feelings of being unwanted, and instead of letting those emotions break them, they used them as stepping stones to become stronger, wiser, and more capable. You can do the same. The end of a relationship, the loss of a friend, or the betrayal of someone you trusted should not be the thing that stops you. It should be the thing that pushes you forward. One of the best ways to move on from someone who left is to invest in yourself. This means taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. It means setting new goals, focusing on your passions, and building the kind of life that excites you. When you pour your energy into self-improvement, you begin to realize that you never needed the people who left you. You begin to understand that their departure was not the end of your story, but rather the beginning of a new, better chapter. You may even find yourself achieving things you never thought possible, all because you chose to redirect your energy from mourning what was lost to building something greater. There is also something incredibly empowering about becoming the best version of yourself after someone has underestimated or walked away from you. It is not about proving them wrong, but there is no denying that one day they will see how much you have grown, how much you have accomplished, and they will realize that leaving you was one of their biggest mistakes. They will see you thriving, succeeding, becoming someone even stronger and more independent. And they will know that they no longer have access to you. That realization will hit them harder than any words ever could. More importantly, when you focus on your growth and success, you attract better people into your life. You create space for those who genuinely appreciate you, those who recognize your worth without needing to lose you first. When you level up, you naturally align yourself with people who match your energy, who support your dreams, who contribute to your happiness instead of taking away from it. This is why it is so important not to stay stuck in the past, not to keep looking back at the people who left, but instead to move forward with confidence, knowing that better things are ahead. No matter how much it hurts when people leave, you have a choice. You can let their absence define you, or you can let it drive you. You can spend your days wishing they would come back, or you can use this time to create a life so fulfilling that their absence becomes irrelevant. The most powerful thing you can do is turn your pain into progress, turn your setbacks into comebacks, and show yourself that you never needed them to succeed in the first place. When someone leaves your life, it can feel like the end of something significant. Whether it was a romantic partner, a close friend, or even a family member, their absence can create a void that feels impossible to fill. It is easy to become consumed by the loss, replaying memories, questioning what went wrong, and wondering if things could have been different. But the truth is, Every time someone walks away, they are making room for something better. Life is a constant cycle of endings and new beginnings, and even though it may not feel like it in the moment, the people who leave are simply creating space for those who are truly meant to be in your life. It is important to understand that not everyone is meant to stay with you forever. Some people come into your life for a short period to teach you lessons, to help you grow, or to serve a specific purpose. When their time is up, they leave, and that is okay. It does not mean you failed, and it does not mean you were not enough. It simply means that their role in your story has ended, and now you are making room for the next chapter. This is one of the hardest things to accept because human nature makes us want to hold on to what feels familiar. We resist change, even when it is for our own good. But when you finally let go of the people who have chosen to walk away, you allow new, better things to come into your life. Sometimes we hold on to people who are not meant for us because we fear the unknown. We settle for less than we deserve because we are afraid that if we let go, we will be left with nothing. But the reality is that as long as you are holding on to the wrong people, you are blocking the right ones from coming in. You cannot welcome new relationships, new friendships, or new opportunities if you are still clinging to something that is already gone. Letting go is not just about accepting someone's departure. It is about embracing the fact that their absence is making room for something greater. When people leave, it may take time to see the bigger picture. At first, it might feel like you lost everything, but with time, you will begin to see why it had to happen. You will start noticing the toxic patterns you ignored, the red flags you overlooked, and the ways in which that relationship was holding you back. You will recognize that their departure was not a punishment, but rather a necessary step toward your growth and happiness. You will begin to understand that the universe, life, or fate, whatever you believe in, removed them for a reason. And when the right people start entering your life, you will finally see why the wrong ones had to leave. There are people out there who will love you, appreciate you, and support you in ways you never imagined. But you will never meet them if you keep holding on to those who have already let go of you. The friendships and relationships that are truly meant for you will not require you to beg, to prove your worth, or to constantly fight for someone's attention. The right people will choose you effortlessly. They will see your value without you having to remind them. They will stay not because they have to, but because they genuinely want to. It is a painful but beautiful truth that every loss creates an opportunity for a new beginning. The person you thought you could not live without will one day become a distant memory, and in their place, new relationships will blossom. Life has a way of bringing people together at the right time, and when you finally meet those who truly belong in your life, you will realize that you never really lost anything at all. You are simply making space for what was always meant to be yours. At the end of the day, life is about growth, change, and moving forward. The people who leave are not meant to stay, and their absence should not define your worth or your future. Instead of mourning those who walked away, embrace the opportunities their departure has created. Focus on yourself, your happiness, and the people who genuinely appreciate and support you. The right people will find their way into your life, not because you had to chase them, but because they truly belong there. Let go with grace, move forward with confidence, and trust that what is meant for you will never require you to beg or suffer to keep it. Your best days are still ahead, and the people who truly deserve to be in your life will walk beside you, not away from you.